Charlie Kirk being framed as racist for saying something logical based on the movement in America and in our companies towards diversity, inclusion, and equity. This is a 30-second clip. Here we go.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
And of course, people are immediately jumping down Charlie's throat. Of course, invoking the old race card that the left so loves to play. And I'm here to say, of course, it's not racist. It's not. In a world of merit, it certainly would be. When you only hire the best person for the job and you immediately assume that the skin color prohibits him from being the most qualified candidate, the pilot in this case, that would be racist, because you're assuming that the skin color means something negative. However, in a world of diversity, inclusion, and equity, in a world of affirmative action, you have to assume that if a company like United states that they are going to hire more black pilots, is this at the expense of somebody more qualified? Just to give you an example, if you were to go to Harvard today and pull 50 random Asian students and 50 random black students, I will wager anybody out there $10,000 that the Asian students will have higher SAT scores. And to put the odds in your favor, if you believe that it is completely a coin flip and that they are equally capable in terms of the SAT, that they got in for the same reasons, I'll give you 100 SAT points between the groups to put the odds in your favor if you believe that. Will you take the bet? No, you won't, because they intentionally let in unqualified candidates. So when a company issues a statement that they are going to hire more black pilots, which United has, and this is part of their diversity, inclusion, and equity initiative, then you have to wonder whether or not, similar to the Harvard example that I believe is mathematically provable, whether or not the pilot has the same qualifications and competence as somebody who is being actively discriminated against. And I personally, I discussed this with my friend Bob the Gringo, if I am having my daughter go under the knife of a doctor, a surgeon, and I am given the choice between a black, a white, and an Asian doctor, 100% of the time, I am picking the guy who had the toughest time getting to his position, because I think that it's most likely, if it's based on skin color, that he had a tough time, that he is going to be the most qualified. So let me reverse it and go back to the 1950s, and my daughter has to be operated on. And there is an ugly black doctor and a really handsome white guy. I'm going to assume that the handsome white guy had a much easier time attaining his position than the guy who had to fight through racism, and which definitely existed at the time, and the way he looks in order to achieve the position that he has. And if I have no other information, I'm going to choose the black guy in this case, right? Because it's logical. It's a statistically based model of expected value based on the inputs of the equation, the variables that are being inputted by the leftists, by those who are pretending to be in favor of diversity of skin color, which isn't diversity at all. It makes no difference what somebody's skin color is. But if you are assuming that skin color is the reason that you're getting hired for a job, yeah, I'm going to look upon you with suspicion. And that does not make me a racist. That makes the leftists that are creating the racism and the polarization that we are seeing in our society. Once again, in a completely meritocratic society, if I were to bias my judgment of somebody based on skin color, that would make me a racist. But the left is intentionally injecting into us. And when we use game theory to make our decisions, to make our judgments, then they describe us as racist, just like they're doing with Charlie Kirk. And they're going to be running this over and over again. These people are so full of it because they do the same thing and they do it silently. At least I'm open about it. And I don't want race to be a part of everything. I want to hire somebody based on merit, competence, how much I like them. These are the reasons that I'm going to hire somebody. Never color of skin. But the leftists will still call me racist. I just think that they're stupid and lying, and that they run the same game theory if they have any intelligence whatsoever. Choose the ugly black doctor in the 1950s over the white one. That's just proper game theory. And if the black guy now gets hired simply because of his skin color, go with the Asian, not even the white doctor, because he had the toughest time getting to his position. Simple logic. Peace.